A fight is gearing up at the state capitol over what is taught in the classroom, but it's not about kids. It's about college students. The state representative's proposal aims to cut off funding to universities that teach controversial lessons about race and gender. Capitol correspondent Monica Madden looks at the potential implications.
Race is something we have a hard time talking about.
UT government professor Eric McDaniel says the concept of critical race theory is largely misunderstood.
It's really a discussion of policy and how policies made in the past affect things today.
But he might be limited in what he can discuss with his students if a new House bill ever becomes law.
I think housing laws are a perfect example, but not being able to talk about policy and not being able to talk about the effects of things and how they have long-term effects on people's lives means there are so many things that I cannot discuss.
Last session, lawmakers banned CRT from being taught in K-12 schools. A bill filed Wednesday has similar wording, proposing to ban any state universities from teaching that an individual is inherently racist, sexist, or oppressive, whether consciously or unconsciously.
And if that means some of those professors who want to teach that don't come to Texas, I'm okay with that.
Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick is advocating for this legislation, speaking about it extensively during his inauguration. He argues it would prevent personal biases from carrying over into public education.
But for those professors in the classroom every day, I don't want them teaching, just like the parents don't want in K-12, that if you're white, you're a racist, and if you're of color, you're a victim.
But McDaniel says with the bill's vague language, he'll have a hard time discussing complex topics about race.
And if we actually want a highly engaged citizenry, we need to be able to talk about these things that are somewhat sensitive.
Monica Madden, State of Texas.
This isn't the only bill filed this session looking to impact what can be said, taught, or read in schools. House Bill 631 would ban talk or lessons on sexual orientation or gender identity from kindergarten up to 5th grade. Another bill would essentially do the same, but through 8th grade. And House Bill 338 would require publishers looking to sell books to Texas schools to place ratings on the books similar to TV and video game ratings. And Texas Congressman Chip Roy is taking the fight to the federal level. The Republican introduced a bill that he says would take federal funding from public schools that teach critical race theory. Texas teachers could get a big raise.
We have an emergency teacher shortage in this state, and it requires emergency action by the Texas legislature.
The plan at the Capitol for a record pay hike and how the lawmaker behind the bill says the state can afford the increase. A change in border policy has the Biden administration facing renewed pressure. Why the changes are bringing criticism from both Republicans and Democrats on Capitol Hill.